If you enjoy annoying the crap out of your opponents, but maybe cards like Winter Orb or Armageddon are maybe just a bit too obnoxious for your playgroup, then this might just be the deck for you. I'm Sven and welcome to my channel, Ceaseless MTG. Today we're gonna look at a partnered Esper Hate Bear deck with Sakashima of 1,000 Faces and Tymna the Weaver as our commanders. The deck might seem a bit complicated as we go through it, but the overall game plan is actually pretty simple. We're looking to play a lot of creatures with static abilities that make the game awkward for our opponents. The deck is packed with different kind of hate creatures, so let's go ahead and talk about them. Thorn of the Amethyst, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and Vryn Wingmare all increase the cost of non-creature spells from our opponents by 1 generic mana, and Grand Arbiter Augustine increases the cost of all opponent spells by 1 generic mana, while simultaneously providing some pretty solid ramp. Then we have Aura of Silence, which is a bit more narrow, but taxes a bit harder. And then Cabal Council of Allocation taxes their life total rather than their mana. The deck plays 0 creatures with Enter the Battlefield triggers, which means that we get free access to cards like Hushbringer, Tocatli Onagod, Hushring Griff, and Torpor Orb, which all shut down ETB triggers. Archon of Emeria, Eidolon of Rhetoric, Arcane Laboratory, and Rule of Law all puts a 1 spell per turn limit on each player. We also have Deafening Silence and Aethersworn Canonist, which are both a bit more narrow versions of essentially the same effect. Card draw is an essential part of the Commander format, so we need some hate for that as well. New Commander All-Star Hull Breacher replaces our opponent's additional card draw with treasures on our side of the battlefield, and it even has flash, so you can do it in response to a card draw spell. The Gnostic Potter of Veils simply limits opponent's draw to 1 per turn. The Notion Thief is kinda reminiscent of Hull Breacher, but instead of making treasures, we get to outright steal their card draw. And then we have Alms Collector, which pretty much shuts down a lot of the best card draw in the format. Tutors make a lot of sense in a singleton format like Commander, since they add a lot of consistency to a deck. Now we're looking to take advantage of that fact by playing Aven Mind Sensor, Ashiok Dream Render, and New Commander Legends Powerhouse Opposition Agent. These cards all shut down tutors, but not only regular tutors such as Vampiric Tutor and Demonic Tutor, but also land tutoring like Rampant Growth and Cultivate, and even fetch lands. We're also playing Leonin Arbiter, but remember that this one is symmetrical, meaning that we do lose access to fetch lands ourselves. We do play a few more various hate effects that I honestly didn't really know how to categorize, so I decided to just pile them together here. Containment Priest prevents players from cheating things into play, and Drannith Magistrate does a bit of the same, but is mostly there to prevent opponents from playing their commanders. Lavinia Azorius Renegade is highly synergistic with our taxing effects on non-creature spells and hates a little bit on cheaty stuff. Phyrexian Revoker and Lyn Vala Keeper of Secrets are there to shut down activated abilities, and Kuneros, Hound of Athreos, and Grafdigger's Cage hates a bit more on some cheaty stuff. Then True Name Nemesis is mostly a sticky, unblockable creature that ensures that we get to draw cards off of Tymna. And Thalia, Heretic Cathar, is just really annoying and slows our opponents down. The deck is not exactly packed with card draw, as we mostly plan to rely on Tymna for that. We do, however, play a few of the best draw pieces for a deck like this, so we have Dark Confidant, Ghostly Pilferer, Mystic Remora, and Rhystic Study. I also decided to mention Lurrus of the Dream Den here, as it's mostly included in the list to provide more gas. Mana rocks constitute most of the ramp in the deck. We have Sol Ring, we have some Signets, and some Talismans, Arcane Signet. And then we also have Stormscape Familiar, Aether Vial, and Smothering Tithe. The majority of our hate effects are stapled onto creatures, so we need to make sure they stick around. Giver of Runes and Mother of Runes are both extremely effective at this, especially Mother of Runes, which can also target itself. And we also play Unsettled Mariner, which is another way of making spot removal really awkward. Grand Abolisher turns off our opponent's ability to interact during our turn, and Teferi Time Reveler just completely shuts down instant speed interaction, also during our opponent's turns. And then we have some creature-based counter magic with Judge's Familiar, Siren Stormtamer, Nimble Obstructionist, and Glen Elendra Archmage. And we also have Swan Song, which is not on a creature but it's a bit more efficient. Teferi's Protection is our ultimate protection spell that essentially phases us out until next turn. Sanctum Prelate is really effective for turning off various things like board wipes or combos. And then lastly we have Commander's Staple Lightning Greaves, which is really effective for protecting our Tymna or our hate pieces. I'm not gonna go over every single land in the deck, as I'd like to keep the video as short as possible. I will however include a link with a deck list in the description, so you can check that out if you're interested. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, it would really be appreciated. I also hope I inspired you to be a little bit more of a annoying Magic player, and yeah, I think that's it. Thank you kindly for the view. Until next time.